My brothers and sisters, one of the most beautiful truths of our faith is this. When you raise your hands to Allah, your dua is already on its way. Even if you cannot see it, even if you cannot feel it, even if nothing seems to be changing. Allah is Al-Basir, the one who sees every tear. He is As-Sameh, the one who hears even the whisper of your heart. And He is Al-Hakim, the one whose wisdom is beyond our understanding. Sometimes we think acceptance means immediate results. We want Allah to respond now, fix everything now, open every door now. But Allah reminds us, perhaps you dislike something while it is good for you, and perhaps you love something while it is bad for you. This ayah is not simply a reminder. It is a shield against despair. It tells you that Allah is protecting you from things you don't even know would harm you. When you make dua, three things happen. Either Allah gives you exactly what you asked for, or He gives you something better, or He redirects a hardship that was coming your way. In all three cases, your dua is accepted, just in a different form, at a different time, with a better outcome than you could ever plan. We feel frustrated only when we confuse our timing with Allah's timing. But Allah does not delay because He has forgotten you. He delays because the plan is bigger than your moment, bigger than your pain, bigger than your imagination. Sometimes Allah withholds something today because He wants to replace it with something extraordinary tomorrow. Sometimes He lets you walk through a challenge so that your heart becomes strong enough to carry the blessing you asked for. When you truly understand that Allah hears every dua, even the ones you never speak aloud, your entire relationship with Him changes. Many people think dua must be long, loud, emotional, or expressed with perfect wording. But Allah, in His infinite mercy, listens to the quietest voice of your heart, to the pain you cannot put into sentences, to the hope you are too shy to express, and even to the fear you keep hidden from everyone around you. Sometimes a person is unable to describe what they feel. They sit in silence, their heart trembling, trying to search for the right words. And yet, in that moment, Allah already knows what they want better than they themselves do. This alone is a powerful reminder that no dua is ever lost, no dua is ever unnoticed, and no dua is ever too small for the Lord of the worlds. Imagine a person who whispers a request late at night, believing no one can hear them. Allah hears. Imagine a tear falling without a sound. Allah sees. Imagine a broken heart that struggles to speak. Allah understands. This is why believers feel a deep comfort in turning to Him. They know that even when their tongues fail, their hearts continue making dua, and Allah responds to what lies inside the chest. Many times we forget that Allah is closer to us than our own jugular vein. There is no distance between your dua and His hearing. There are no barriers, no intermediaries, no limits. You do not need an appointment, a long introduction, or eloquent expressions. You only need sincerity. When you raise your hands, when your gaze drops in humility, when your heart leans toward Allah with hope, He listens in a way that no one else ever can. Sometimes people think that du'as are not accepted because they do not see an immediate result. They assume silence from the heavens means their voice was not heard. But this is never the case. The acceptance of du'a does not depend on visible signs, it depends on the knowledge and wisdom of Allah. Just because you cannot see the movement does not mean Allah is not already rearranging your life in ways you cannot imagine. Sometimes the moment you say, Ya Allah, the acceptance begins. But its arrival takes time because Allah is aligning situations, changing hearts, opening doors, removing obstacles, or protecting you from something hidden. You may ask Allah for something and feel nothing change, but perhaps He already changed something inside you. Perhaps He gave you strength, comfort, peace, or patience. Perhaps He redirected a harm you never knew was approaching. This too is acceptance. When you cry to Allah in the depths of the night and you feel relief afterward, that relief is a response. When you feel clarity after confusion, hope after despair, light after darkness, this is Allah answering your silent pleas. Sometimes the acceptance is internal long before it becomes external. It is also important to realize that Allah loves when His servant makes dua. Your dua is not just a request, it is a moment of connection. When you ask Allah, you are acknowledging His power, His mercy, His control, and His love for you. You are admitting your need and declaring His greatness. This act alone is so beloved to Him that He never leaves it unanswered. Even if you repeat the same dua every day, even if you feel tired, even if you wonder why the situation is not changing, Allah hears you every single time with the same attention, the same mercy, the same closeness. When you believe that Allah hears every dua, your heart becomes calm. You no longer rush, panic, or lose faith. You understand that you are never alone. You realize that every whisper, every sigh, every broken moment, every expression of gratitude, every request, all of it is recorded, cherished, and responded to in the most perfect way. Trusting Allah's perfect plan requires a different kind of vision, one that sees with the heart, not the eyes. When you look at your situation only through what is visible, you may feel disappointed, confused, or uncertain. But when you train your heart to recognize that Allah is always working behind the scenes, your entire outlook on life changes. Trust means believing that Allah's wisdom is far greater than your immediate understanding. It means accepting that even when life feels still, Allah's plan is moving. It means knowing that silence from the heavens does not mean absence, but preparation. Trust is the deep inner certainty that Allah never leaves the believer without guidance, support, or purpose. When a person trusts the unseen plan, they no longer demand answers from Allah. Instead, they submit to His timing. You might not know why a door stayed closed or why a blessing hasn't arrived, but Allah knows exactly what is needed for your soul, your future, and your protection. Sometimes Allah hides things from you for your own benefit. If you knew everything that was written for you, you would understand that some delays are meant to save you. Some hardships are meant to build you. And some unanswered prayers are meant to redirect you to something far better. But because you cannot see all of this, you rely on trust. Trust that Allah is taking care of what you cannot understand. Trusting Allah's unseen plan also means you continue your efforts even when the results are invisible. When a farmer plants a seed, he does not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. He trusts the process. He waters, nurtures, and waits, believing that the seed is developing beneath the soil. Similarly, dua, patience, and effort all work beneath the surface of your life. You may not see anything right away, but that doesn't mean growth isn't happening. Trust tells you that your efforts are not wasted, your prayers are not ignored, and your struggles are not in vain. Often, trusting Allah requires letting go of the need for control. Human beings naturally want certainty. We want to know when a hardship will end, when a problem will be solved, when a dream will come true. But the essence of tawakkul is surrendering your need to know the details. You do your part, take the means available, and then leave the final outcome to the one who sees the entire picture. This surrender is not weakness, it is strength. It is peace. It is a realization that everything Allah chooses for you is chosen with perfect knowledge and perfect mercy. When you trust this, your heart becomes calmer, your stress decreases, and your mind becomes clearer. Trust also means believing that Allah's plan is better than your own, even when it feels difficult. Many people later discover that the thing they wanted most would have harmed them, and the thing they once resisted became the greatest blessing of their life. When you reflect on your past, you may find countless moments where Allah protected you from something you once prayed for. At the time, it felt painful, but today you can see the wisdom. This understanding builds your trust in the future as well. If Allah has taken care of you before, why would He abandon you now? If His plan has always been better than your expectations, why would the future be any different? When you place your trust in Allah's unseen plan, your heart becomes a place of light instead of anxiety. You begin to see challenges as lessons, delays as protection, disappointments as redirections, and hardships as purification. You no longer panic when things go wrong because you know Allah is guiding every step. You wake up with hope, sleep with peace, and live with a quiet certainty that Allah's plan is always unfolding with perfection. This trust is what keeps a believer steady. It is what brings comfort during hardship and gratitude during ease. It is what allows you to walk through life with dignity, strength, and calmness. Trusting the unseen plan is not about knowing what will happen. It is about knowing who is controlling what will happen. And when you know Allah is in charge, you realize that nothing in your life is random, wasted, or forgotten. Everything has purpose, and everything is leading you towards something better than you imagined. Many people ask Allah for a blessing without realizing that the blessing itself may require a stronger version of them. Sometimes what you want is not difficult to receive, but difficult to maintain. You may ask for success, but success demands consistency, discipline, patience, and humility. You may ask for love, but love demands emotional maturity, understanding, sacrifice, and stability. You may ask for wealth, but wealth demands responsibility, generosity, and wisdom. Allah, in His mercy, does not want to give you something that will break you. So instead of answering your dua immediately, He prepares you through challenges that shape your character and strengthen your heart. This preparation is not a punishment. It is a sign of love, because Allah wants the blessing. He gives you to stay, to benefit you, and to elevate you rather than harm you. Many times the hardship you go through is directly connected to what you ask for. If you ask Allah for patience, He gives you situations that require patience so that you develop it. If you ask for strength, He puts you through moments that demand resilience so that you grow stronger. If you ask for wisdom, He exposes you to experiences that teach you lessons no book can provide. Every difficulty becomes a training ground. When a person begins to see their challenges in this light, they stop feeling that life is working against them. Instead, they realize life is preparing them for exactly what they prayed for. Everything you face becomes part of a bigger plan designed to shape you into the person capable of receiving what you desire. There are countless examples in everyday life. A person who asks for a peaceful marriage might go through family challenges that teach them communication, patience, and empathy, skills they will need when the right partner eventually arrives. Someone who prays for financial stability might face periods of struggle so that when Allah blesses them later, they know the value of money, they avoid waste, and they handle wealth with gratitude rather than arrogance. A person who asks for emotional healing may go through painful moments that force them to confront old wounds, grow through them, and become emotionally stronger. Without this inner work, the blessing could collapse the moment it enters their life. Allah does not withhold blessings because He wants to see you suffer. He withholds them until you become someone who can appreciate them. A blessing given too early becomes a burden. A blessing given at the right time becomes a gift. Think about rain. If rain falls before seeds are planted, it brings no benefit. But if it falls after the soil is prepared, after the seeds are nurtured, after the conditions are right, then that same rain becomes nourishment and growth. Similarly, Allah waits for your heart, your mind, your character, and your circumstances to reach the right stage before the blessing arrives. Hardships also purify your intentions. Sometimes people ask for things for the wrong reasons, out of pride, comparison, or impatience. But when Allah puts them through certain experiences, those reasons fade away and sincerity takes their place. You begin to pray for something because it brings goodness, not because it satisfies your ego. When Allah gives you the blessing after your intention is purified, it becomes a source of peace rather than a source of chaos. Another wisdom behind hardships is that they bring you closer to Allah. When life is easy, many people forget Him. But when life becomes heavy, you start praying more, reflecting more, and relying on Him more deeply. Through every difficulty, your connection with Allah strengthens. And sometimes that connection itself becomes the greatest blessing, the very thing you were missing. By the time the dua is accepted, you are not only ready for the blessing, but you also have a stronger relationship with Allah, which makes the blessing even sweeter. When you understand that hardships are part of your dua being accepted, you stop running from challenges. You see them as preparation. You recognize them as signs that Allah is working on your heart. You realize that what you asked for is not being delayed, it is being perfected. And when the blessing finally arrives, it fits into your life beautifully because you have become the person capable of holding it, sustaining it, and being grateful for it.